it well.
Yeah, and get rid of the Thoth. That's the only way that I can see them winning this game. If they just take it away, what's he going to do?
Very true. Crimson and Delny almost won Myth the game, and I think it's not too big of a stretch. I don't think Jumpa lost the game by himself.
He didn't.
But Jumpa was a big part of that loss.
Another big thing to note that game was, especially in the early game, everyone was focusing Inbound and Brochacho. Those were the targets every single fight. And why is that? Because they don't have beats.
Yeah, kill the tanks.
I mean,
they just CC'd them.
The action started off in the duo lane where it was Myth starting the action. They got level 5 first to try to make the play. Astral survived long enough to hit level 5 off the wave and then turn it on its head.
That was my favorite part of the game. When you hear Inbound, where are you going? And then Chach answers back. He's like, where are you going? Reverse double kill.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, you know, and that's the experience that some of you guys at home, you know, I hope you guys get to come to Worlds and come to HRX and see these players, because the action live on stage is incredible. I think Myth make the right moves here. They ban out Odin and they ban out Zeus. Zeus is, we talked about Kofi's small exploitable god pool. Zeus is absolutely taking care of that. And the Odin, Odin is paramount to Astral's strategy and also just happens to be one of Wolf's best characters.
You say that Zeus is his limited or his top favorite pick, but he didn't play a terrible Raijin by any stretch of the imagination. He still did his job in game number 1 as a mid-mage, just allowing his tanky front line to, you know, create the space that he really needs to get off his abilities.
He did. And whoa, I'm actually surprised by that. I could have sworn that Myth would have picked Kakul there since it wasn't banned. Yes, it's one of Delny's best gods. And now, I think Wolves will take it because it's one of his best gods.
Well, Delny crushed on the Osiris in game number 1. I think he did a very good job.
He did, but yep, there it is.
So solo lane selected for both teams here. Kakul and Osiris will go head-to-head in the short lane. Ho Yi. Should I do it?
It's all you, brother.
Ho Yi. That's the best impression that anyone's ever done of Ho Yi.
I don't think
Caliber, can you do a better one?
No, and I'm not going to try.
You should try.
No, I'm not doing that right now.
I'm going to kick you off the desk.
Ho Yi.
I love it. And I love this. Nemesis for Jumpa, Thoth for Crimson. This could be the game that Myth wins.
We talked about how Jumpa needed a tank killer. Well, there you go. Nemesis before the secondary ban phase, but still electing to play this Cabrakan even into a Nemesis. Now, you know, not going to be able to really escape that cage unless you pick up that early Phantom. So this could be a good idea for Astral to group up early, utilize KP's ultimate.
Yeah, I think that Myth got a way better draft this game. I think they were smart to get rid of the Odin. And Astral, once again, they chose to ban the Soul instead of the Thoth. So I think Myth got all of their comfort picks so far.
That said, with the Nemesis selection, I want to see Astral pivot. I would love to see Brochacho play Cabrakan support and give a traditional assassin to the jungler.
That's stretching it quite a bit, though, because Cabrakan in laning phase is a little risky. Obviously, you become like this easy target once your cooldowns are not available, especially before you get all 3 abilities with the Tremors.
Chach is the guy to do it, though.
I don't know if they do it here, though.
Yeah, why not?
If they win this game, they're qualified for Worlds.
Yep.
If they lose this game, they have to do the tiebreaker. I think they're going to stick with what they've been doing and keep the Cabrakan in the jungle.
I mean, they don't have to do the
into the
tiebreaker, potentially, if you guys lose the cast.
I think they will, and I actually talked to Brochacho about this earlier today. I was like, are you going to, you know, go the Cabrakan jungle again? And I was telling him, because, you know, obviously, he's my boy, so I was like, I think that they'll run Nemesis against you, and he's like, no, it doesn't matter. We're going to wreck it. So he's confident.
So confident in the strategy. I like that. It's definitely something you want to stick to if it's something that's been beneficial to you so far. Astral focusing on the support role. Taking a look at Bobby, Geb, and Ganesh banned out so far. Myth, on the other hand, going to ban out the Xing Qian.
You can never really ban out Brochacho here. Even with Xing Qian being banned by Myth, I think Inbound takes a bigger hit with all these Guardian bans, because we know that Brochacho still likes the Ares, still likes the Ymir as well. So those are the 2 probably next go-to picks, and it's actually going to be a Muzinka banned by Myth.
Expecting Astral to go for the double Hunter this time
Yeah,
around.
and they actually ran the Muzinka mid against me like 2 days ago. So that's smart.
I like that. I like that ban. Astral, on the other hand. Do you think the Raijin... So, we were cautious about the Raijin. We didn't know what to expect. You just watched it. You're a pro-level mid laner yourself. What's your letter grade on the mid lane Raijin?
I would say like a B. He did what he had to do. It's not like he carried. You know, Crimson was probably doing more than he was, but he wasn't feeding, so why not?
The RDO likely to wind up support. You think it's going to be support?
I think it's going to be support.
Yeah. Support RDO likely in the hands of El Brochacho, if that's the direction it goes. Myth have the option, and they've got 2 more selections. We're going to see a Hunter here and a support.
Still need some defensive options. Could potentially see a Khepri. It's not a pick that we've seen normally here in the SCL, but this wouldn't be a bad idea here, considering how aggressive the front line is between Osiris, between the Nemesis, and you also have some good peels. You have that passive aura shield. Where do you think Bobby goes?
I'm not sure because Geb and Ganesh are his go-to picks. The only god I've seen him run besides those 2 is Fafnir. And I'm not sure how well that would... Well, actually, it would work well into this comp. He can jump over the Kabrakan wall. I think that he is going to go Fafnir this game.
And I mean, Fafnir works out wonderfully when it comes down to Osiris and Nemesis and your Hunter, all of which are basic attack-oriented characters.
You also got to take into consideration this RDO cripple field that can easily lock down the Fafnir to prevent that initial jump, even after transforming into that dragon form.
That is true. But there it is. The Fafnir also, when comboed with the Thoth, obviously it's not a Fafnir soul combo, but it still burns objectives really fast with the Thoth wall. If you're the Thoth and the Hunter both shooting through it, the objectives will go down pretty fast.
And then, like I said, I mean, Osiris and Nemesis also going to do well with the Coerce. Hachiman will be the Hunter of choice for Keegs. How do you feel about the new guy?
He's been killing it on this god, honestly. I don't think many Hunters here can play it. So far, I think he's been the only one that's pulled it out this weekend, unless I'm wrong. But he plays it really well.
He also plays it very aggressively. He likes to make a lot of these flashy plays. Keegsmate is not afraid to pull the trigger on that horse and ride into the sunset.
Never been a concern for Keegs or fans of Keegs. Is he going to be aggressive this game? Always aggressive.
I think that's also his downfall, though.
Yes.
Most of these games, you know, Keegs, he gets picked in fights too early because he rolls in and he's just too aggressive. You see Trans likes to hang back a little bit. He's letting his 3 Guardian Warrior people go in, and he's just living longer. Kukulkan. I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, it's not the Raijin, that's for sure.
The face you made was so good. So we are going to see the Kukulkan here for Astral, mid lane Covey. I've seen it in the regular season, I feel like, not last split, but maybe the split before. And I liked it. I generally like Kukulkan. I think he's got a good zone. I think he's got good objective secure. I think the character just kind of gets beat up a little bit. What's your take?
In the game to make worlds, you pick Kukulkan?
It synergizes with the Kabrakan walls, right? That's the idea. Kabrakan on KP is going to initiate, drop the wall, drop the tremors, and then whoever's hitting Kabrakan is going to get tornado in the face.
Let me remind the folks at home that if Astral win this game, Shaliber goes to Worlds.
Yeah.
Right now?
Bro.
I mean, that's not to be determined yet. They still need to play against Kaz.
We're going to win.
Are you going to ride
We're going to win against Kaz.
We'll see.
I know what you want. Who wins?
Astral's going to win this game.
Is that your heart or your head?
I believe in them. They're going to win. I'm going to cheer them on in the crowd. They got this.
How about you, Toli?
I think this game going to win, and then we're going to see potentially Soar get that 2-0 potentially against Kaz, and then we're going to have a 3-way split.
Well, we'll see if the results follow the heart or the head for Shaliber. One more time, it's Finch and Taco.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Toli. Thank you, Shaliber. And we know Shaliber and the rest of SOAR really are going to be hoping that this Kukulkan works out for Astral Authority here, Taco.
This is a risky pick from Astral Authority, especially Kobe's already brought it out in this LAN, but it's one of those picks where it's entirely hit or miss. And for the Kukulkan, you have to be hit. You can't afford to miss that.
No.
Set up the only form of real hard CC. Well, he's also got the Kukulkan knockup, the Kabrakan stun. I'm imagining that Chaotic Purpose is probably going to start that off again with a blink if he is running Kabrakan jungle. This could potentially be Kukulkan jungle and Kabrakan solo, although I wouldn't really anticipate that.
Well, I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, in the last game, it wasn't like they were getting a whole bunch out of the Raijin pick anyway. Not to say that it was being played poorly, but they just didn't really need it in that game. So, I mean, it might be okay, even if it's not quite hit on, but I 100% agree with Kukulkan. It's heavily execution-based.
And one other thing that I do like with this Kukulkan is that they have the RDO cripple field, which should help out with those tornado placements as well. All Kobe has to do is drop his tornado on top of the RDO, and she should be able to help him lock down at least a little bit of secure damage, just in case that Spirit of the Nine Winds doesn't actually go where he wants it to.
Now, in game 1, Taco, we saw the Kukulkan band away, I believe, and that's why Odin was able to make it through. But this time, Kukulkan makes it through for Astral Authority. And are we thinking that's going to be going over to Wolves? I mean, talk to me about this Kukulkan pick.
Kukulkan would be strong for Wolves because it would provide him a ton of aggression in the early game, which is ideal against an Osiris who you know, especially for Delaney to be playing it. Delaney's been rocking it all weekend long. He has looked like a phenomenal solo laner here at LAN, really popped off. But Wolves is going to have the same kind of opportunity playing the Kukulkan, although I would still probably favor the matchup to go to the Osiris. Levels 1 through 4 maybe in favor of Kukulkan because he has that rage transformation into his secondary form, and then the cooldowns reset so he gets more abilities. Small benefit, but Osiris is Osiris, and he loves bullying out in the solo lane.
Well, as they stated on the desk here, Myth going up against Astral Authority, it's just this simple. If Astral Authority win, they're going to HRX, Taco. That's 3 points. They're at 7, and they're out of reach. But if Myth Gaming take this, they end up splitting. They're still at 5 points. Then it's pressure on Sword to get a 2-0 to tie this one up. So Astral would much rather just take that easy ticket.
This is one of the ways to do it, though, because it's crazy to think that they are putting their world's trip potentially on the line with the Kukulkan. That is very unexpected, but this is a team that knows what they're doing, and if anything, the crowd can trust their own player level. Inbound taking a whole lot of poke out of Brochacho on this RDO.
Yeah, this is what the strategy was last game. It was punish inbound, focus him out, find him isolated, kill him. And it looks like Astral Authority are saying if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Punishing inbound a little bit here over in this duo lane, but I mean, we talked about it a bit before here already. Brochacho preaches trust, man. These guys trust this Kukulkan pick. They trust Covey on it, and they trust their world ticket to this composition.
And the Kingsmate, though, on that Hachiman, certainly something to be feared. So much poke potential with that Heavenly banner, and then the Mounted Archery, the Eagle's Eye. It's going to be difficult for Transonics this time around. Even with the Hu Yi selection, he's not going to have as much freedom to just jump into Keegs or openly clear the wave, because Keegs, like I said, he can definitely find the better end of that matchup.
Last game, we saw Myth Gaming. They end up essentially trading the two buffs. This team did. Myth actually came out on top with majority buff control. This time, though, they're in the mid lane. Transonics comes down and clears the enemy red buff all by himself. Now going to go and pick up his own red buff with the help of Covey. Inbound and Keeksmate recognizing the bad news a little bit too late. Just going to have to settle for their purple and go for that mid Harpies on the duo side, which Covey not going to be able to contest.
The main reason why this hurts Myth Gaming so much is because Transonics was able to acquire the solo farm. So even though he missed out on a wave, that keeps Brochacho level because he gets that solo farm to himself. So he's still keeping up with Inbound, but Inbound splitting that wave plus the purple buff with Keeks is going to leave Keeks slightly behind Transonics.
And they're able to split those buffs up too. So now Covey goes back to mid lane with that red buff. He'll be able to clear a little bit easier and even perhaps rotate over and help them establish a little bit more jungle. As it looks like Jumpa is here with Crimson in mid lane, whereas Astral Authority have elected to leave their jungler over here in that soul lane to try and pressure out Delny a bit on this Osiris.
And this is kind of the same thing that we saw from Chaotic Purpose last game. If he has the opportunity to try and punish over aggression from Delny, then he's going to look to take it. He, one more time, does have that Blink Relic available, so it's easy for him to make those early rotations.
And that's what he's going to be looking to do. Chaotic Purpose last game on this Cabrakan pick was really putting down the pressure. He was looking to catch Inbound out of position. He was looking to go over and punish Keegsmate. That'll be harder this time, though. Keegs is a lot safer, but certainly that's what Chaotic Purpose is going to be looking for.
Another thing, too, that I really like about this Kukulkan pick is the fact that Chaotic Purpose, Cabrakan, he's running the Vampiric Shroud, doesn't have a whole lot of mana control on the Cabrakan pick, but alongside of Kobe with the easy clear, he's not going to have to worry as much about it. And no, just off the mark with the Cabrakan, while Jumpa should be able to get out of this one.
Covey, though, drops the ultimate. It lands right on top of Jumpa. Easy for more Wolves to flip over the top and clean that one up. Once again, first blood going to Astral Authority.
I think that's, again, just the caster's curse. Covey just lands that Kukulkan ultimate with no setup, pretty much. He just had to rely on the fact that maybe Jumpa is going to try and run directly back to the tower, and that just happened to be the case.
Well, maybe that's why they felt confident. I mean, if Covey's got the hot reads, then he can play this Kukulkan all day long, and he might not even have to worry about it. If they get this one, they're on the Worlds. Inbound, stuck in those tremors, but he's able to jump on out. Crimson hanging out here in mid lane with KP and Brochacho, who's a little bit low. Might have to make sure he's careful around this long range Thoth, not Cabrakan. That's a Thoth there in the mid lane. That's a Thoth.
It is the Thoth in the mid lane, but Wolves getting that first blood, massive kill bounty for him, especially since he's facing off against Delania and the Osiris. Normally Osiris is going to get the pressure around this stage, but now Wolves is going to be able to actually probably fight him back into it. He already has his boots finished.
Now, Taka, I want to ask you, it's felt like in this tournament, the mid laners have really not been under any pressure almost at all, really. They've been able to sort of free farm, you know, rotate over. I mean, we've seen this Warlock Sash start go unpunished almost all weekend. Covey, I mean, on the Kukulkan is already able to just kind of drop the tornadoes and back up.
He's just so safe. You can't really punish Covey early on, and the same thing applies to Crimson as well. The Thoth having such a long-range dash when you have that hieroglyphic wall up, so it's an extended range. And Covey, it's the Kukulkan. He drops a tornado and the wave is cleared. He doesn't have to do anything else. He doesn't have to put himself crazy out of position to farm. And so both these teams can kind of just recognize that aspect, and that's why we see them electing to just farm it out and then take up the team fights later on.
Covey already getting that Warlock Sash started up for himself. Crimson, on the other hand, has not yet had a chance to start getting that next item that he wants to be building into whatever he chooses to follow this up with. So Covey already going to be moving along there with those stacks and help him out.
In game number 2, though, last time in the Hunter roles, we saw Transonics actually build and Devourer gauntlets first and then going into the boots, but he's traded it off, and it seems as though Keegs is actually trying to finish those Devo gloves. That's why we see him staying in the lane for so long.
He's able to, too, with that Hachiman passive. You essentially cannot run out of mana, it feels like, over there. You know, just chilling. Look at him, half mana, just chilling. He's been here for 5.5 minutes, and he's happy to stick around a little bit longer. Brochacho, though, is lurking along, gets the stun, but rather just try and focus on farming here right now.
That's all. Transonics can get those cheeky stuns with those ricochets, but it's not going to make too much of an impact right now because Keegs is trying to play it safe. He doesn't want to overextend the lane. He doesn't want to get caught out, more importantly, by that RDO cripple field.
Rotating back over here are Brochacho and Chaotic Purpose kind of hanging out on the enemy side of those buff camps to force the ultimate out. Did Delany for more wolves, so that's okay. That was his rage form anyway. He'll be all right. Crimson, though, as you mentioned, very safe from the pressure from Chaotic Purpose, able to dash out of there.
That was such a smart ultimate, though, from Wolves because it negated that horrific emblem. Speaking of which, Chaotic Purpose just a little bit short on that ultimate.
Not able to trap him in the walls that time. Crimson once again hitting these long-range stuns on the Thoth, and that's something we were talking about in between games. I mean, Crimson looked excellent last game, despite the fact that Myth was down towards that ending part of it, and they let him take this pick one more time.
And Chaotic, he really wanted Crimson there, but so unfortunate when that ultimate does not connect. Probably thought he was just going to be in range with that blink, but sometimes it happens.
That's one of those things that can change the game, like a small play. I mean, getting a pick there, trapping him. If you potentially trap, you could get a pick off of it. So, I mean, and that could start to change the way the game is going. So instead, Crimson able to make it on out of there. And Chaotic Purpose just going to have to wait and give that another try. I mean, that ult will be back up here before you know it, and he can look to trap someone else.
Myth Gaming, though, they need to be really careful about this dual lane because even when it seems like it might be in their favor, speaking of which, Keegsmay, he's actually going to catch out Brochacho with a stun, but now that means go for Transonics, dropping those stuns, trying to see what kind of poke out he can get onto Keegs. Unfortunately, nothing's going to happen so far.
Yeah, I think he might have been worried they were going to keep going on to Brochacho there, too. Transonics trying to help make sure that that the Druid's not in any trouble. Instead, they'll back off. They give up their ultimates there. Really not much committed from the dual lane of Myth Gaming. I believe the sprint might have come out, but that was just about it.
Going back to what I was saying, though, with the dual lane and why Myth needs to be careful is because Astral Authority have a great objective composition, at least for burning and securing.
Going in is Keegsmay on that mounted archery, dropping down the damage from the Heavenly Banner too. Just not quite enough to find Brochacho, but Crimson is enough over the wall. He takes him down inbound. Actually was under the tower. Covey rotates over and has the damage ticking, catches him in the transformation.
Oh.
He drops the ultimate too, but it locks him in place. Keegs gets the return kill.
And Keegs, though, he's going to be in a lot of danger here, trying to run away from Transonics and Chaotic Purpose. On the backside, Transonics getting ulted by Jumpa, and Jumpa is going to be able to clean him up. Unfortunately, though, Chaotic cannot save the life of his Hunter.
Just a long engagement where they kept trickling in. It started off with Crimson finding that kill over the wall, ends up cleaning that one up, and they just kept coming in, trading out 1 for 1. In the end, though, Covey and Transonics do fall for Astral Authority, and Myth Gaming have tied up the kills 3-3.
And this has been a pretty quiet game from Jumpa. Almost a little bit surprised to see the Nemesis finally come into play. He's been quietly farming away, and that's kind of just what you expect. Braken's going to have way more early pressure. It deals a little bit more damage early on as well.
Delny and Wolves continuing just to slap over here in the solo lane. Not too much going to come of it. Wolves has gotten a bit of a lead out of this over here. Actually forces Delny to jump away. But Delny's all right with doing that, though. It's just important to be safe over there in that solo lane.
And for Covey, if that ultimate had connected, he would have very easily, I shouldn't say very easily, but he probably would have survived at least a little bit longer for Chaotic to shift his attention focus to Keegs a little bit sooner.
Yeah, Jumpo was just able to come in on the backside, not unlike what we're seeing here from inbound, locking down Covey in the mid lane. Instead, Covey goes through the return damage on the Crimson, not threatened by the Dwarf at all. He knew he had Chaotic Purpose in the wings coming over to help even up those numbers a little bit as Brochacho rotates in too.
Covey might have actually been hoping for a little bit more aggression from Myth Gaming, so actually a smart hold from Myth to not push further into that T1 tower line.
Yeah, they likely could have been punished. Chaotic Purpose, I believe, had the blink as well. So, I mean, he could have cut that distance if he needed to, and they had a chance to turn that one around with Covey's ultimate as well. In the end, nothing much comes from that engagement. We're still very even, maybe like 100, 200 gold separates these two teams 10 minutes in. Tectonic Shift, though, traps Crimson this time. The ultimate will off the mark, but Chaotic Purpose didn't even need it. Cleans Crimson up and backs on out. Another pick for Astral.
That was just the zoning of the Spirit of the Nine Winds from Covey. Cut off one direction and made it so that he had to try and go a different way out of Chaotic Purpose's ultimate. And Crimson falling there is going to be huge for Astral Authority because it does open up the potential for some buff invades that are going to be spawning here pretty soon, or even maybe the Gold Fury, although Transonics maybe not looking to push that way.
Astral backing up and grabbing their own speed buff, it looks like, but I agree, that is a big kill. They struggled to kill Crimson last game. I believe it wasn't until that deicide at the end that they did bring him down. So now they're showing that they can actually lock in the Thoth pick with that Cabrakan wall. So Crimson gonna have to play a little bit more carefully, maybe a little bit safer there in that mid lane. Can't just walk up and continue doing damage over the walls.
It's mostly that Astral was also able to kill Crimson despite him using his purification beads. And so now that he won't have those for another minute and a half, it just means that Astral can push and aggress him again because Chaotic Purpose's blink is going to be up in 30 seconds.
And I said Crimson needs to make sure he's playing more safe. But I mean, he's under his tier 1 tower in mid, to be honest. I mean, he's getting chased down, getting bullied a little bit there in the mid lane. So, I mean, not too much more we can ask of the guy. But like you said, without those beads, he's going to have to do even more to make sure that's something that can happen from Chaotic Purposes. That blink will be back up in about 10 seconds, and he'll have a chance to try again.
And Chaotic Purpose is just already seemingly so tanky.
Yeah.
And anytime a jungler is this threatening, it's always a problem. Crimson trying to pop the sprint from his own support to get away, but now it's going to be inbound who's drawn the attention of Astral Authority.
And Astral back up. They feel like they got enough out of that. They're going to come and try and take these oracles, force Myth Gaming to come back in. Crimson's dash is already down. He went instead to try and close some of the distance here. Brochacho gets stunned, but they'll back up and be okay with that trade.
Doesn't really mean much of anything for Astral other than getting some guaranteed Gold Fury vision, and that's exactly what they want. Myth needs to get a Sentry Ward down on this Gold Fury. They can't afford to let Astral sneak one away from them.
I mean, honestly, Myth Gaming is happy to have a fight that's a wash in a situation where Crimson didn't have his beads. It was clear he was the focus there from Astral. They were running past inbound to try and get to him, and he's okay. Last game, what we saw for them, though, is they would have been happy to try and take inbound that situation, but on the Fafnir, maybe not so much.
But a sprint for nothing is still a win for Myth, or for Astral Authority, because now he's not going to have that to try and escape next time a team fight could possibly break out. And with the way that Astral has been grouping, it's very clear that they want to fight. They're just not certain if they can get away with it now.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me, too. It feels like they are trying to start a fight, and when it doesn't quite go clean or as clean as they want, they are disciplined enough to back out of it. But this is kind of how we saw Game 1 go, Taco. In all honesty, it was very close between the two teams, despite all the picks Astra was getting, and that one misplay by this Portal Demon Fire Giant Pit that we're passing by now is what kind of lost it for Myth.
Speaking of which, Brochacho now actually in a lot of trouble. Kobe trying to help his support peel out of there, but it's going to be Crimson who's getting focused by Chaotic Purpose in the backside. Great Aegis, though, going to prevent that Spirit of the 9 Winds.
Able to live through that damage is important because Crimson turns it back around on Chaotic Purpose with the final judgment. Brochacho over the wall once again. Crimson now with a double kill in the team fight. Kobe gonna have to back off over the wall one more time. Not able to find it this time. Transonics gonna have to turn tail.
And it's already been such a great rotation by Delaney. As soon as he backed to base, he didn't care about his T1 tower because he knew that his team wanted the fight. They want the Gold Fury. They're going to be able to get it. There's nothing Transonics can do about it.
And you pointed it out in the middle of that team fight, living through with the Aegis, that Serpent of the 9 Winds coming through was so big. He was able to turn around and immediately take Chaotic Purpose out of that fight, continuing to put pressure on, opening up that Gold Fury. Now we see Myth Gaming with a near 2,000 gold lead, more like really maybe like 1,200 or so that they have, and they can start building on their first real lead here of the game.
It was all about Crimson in that team fight, and the fact that he was able to survive through everything Astral Authority threw at him. Absolutely devastating. Brochacho, all cooldowns, had no real way to escape once they were locked inside that pit. Easy turnaround for a Thoth.
And I think that they were worried that Brochacho took too much damage at the start of that fight, too, because Chaotic Purpose blinks over the wall, and he's still really far from Crimson. He had to kind of come in, barely caught him with the wall, and they might not have wanted to go in on that. They might have been worried a little bit about Brochacho in that engagement.
It's just the extended range and Crimson's accuracy that has been the biggest nuisance for Astral Authority.
Yeah.
But now that his Aegis is down, this is the time where Astral could potentially look to punish him. Although that fight put Keegs back on top of Transonics in the duo lane, which is a pretty rough situation.
Keegs now, Sin level 15 up over Transonics level 14. We haven't heard too much from the Hunters here in this game so far. It really feels like it's been a tale of our junglers in the mid lane. Chaotic Purpose and Kobe kind of just up against Crimson and what he's been able to do for him out of this mid lane. Once these two Hunters rotate over, though, that was something we saw impact the last game in a big way. This time, though, Keegs made on the much safer Hachiman, so he might have a chance to survive through some of these a little bit easier.
And Keegs actually going with a little bit of a greedy build. Rushing that Titan's Bay means that he's going to get a lot of pen, but it's more of the individual pen. It's not like an Executioner where it's lowering their protections and providing more damage. Speaking of which, Wolves trying to make sure he gets Crimson this time around.
And they did. They recognized he wouldn't have the Aegis. Chaotic Purpose takes Crimson down with the Tectonic Shift. Portal Demon already being pulled by the rest of Astral Authority as they've zoned out a couple members. Jumpa is here, though. The stun comes out on him, and the root coming out on him for more Wolves, continuing on with the chase, with the sprint to keep him out of there, but way, way in the back end of the team fight. Delny is in trouble, has to use Lord of the Afterlife to get away.
Wolves doesn't care about anything.
Timing.
Perfect from Kobe. He landed that Spirit of the 9 Winds, stops inbound from jumping away because of the knockup, and now that's an easy 2-for-0 trade that Astral just made. They need to secure this Portal Demon to really capitalize off those picks.
That really was perfect timing from Kobe on that ultimate. Nothing that inbound could do to get out of that situation. Now they'll be able to come over here and take this Portal Demon back. Keegs mate is around, but I don't think he's going to be able to get past Wolves to have anything to say about this objective. Astral Authority answer back to that Gold Fury and even this game back up.
Now everybody gets the back for free as well. Come back in, maybe try and find another couple of picks. Crimson, though, both of his actives are back up. Astral Authority, if they're going to try and focus out this Thoth, they have to be careful with paying attention when that Aegis is active.
Right now, Crimson kind of feels like the linchpin for this Myth Gaming roster. When he's able to make it through that initial initiation, they can turn the team fight around. But when he isn't, Astral Authority are able to be the ones that tip the fight in their favor. How well Crimson can make it through these fights really does seem to be the focal point for them, because Brochacho, or rather Chaotic Purpose, and Wolves are going to keep trying to focus him out.
And there's only so much peel that can actually be provided for Crimson. It's mostly coming down to his positioning, and even though he was playing super far back, Wolves kind of just took advantage of the fact that everyone else was focused on the Portal Demon, that he could just freely abuse Crimson on that backside.
Yeah, for a while, Wolves was down there bullying Crimson kind of alone. There was mostly just like the back end of the fight to Myth Gaming were around him, and eventually he gets that help coming in from Chaotic Purpose. So once again, the trust on this Astral composition coming through. Now they're putting some pressure on this mid tower, but way too much of a response from Myth Gaming for them to be able to get it. Good ricochet onto Keegs, who's not happy about it, it would seem.
He's probably trying to contemplate his life existence right now. And anytime you get landed a triple bounce ricochet in that fashion, you always just wonder, why was I actually there?
Yeah, he's wondering just how many protractors Transonics has, because we all know he calculated it out, made sure he perfectly got that bounce, so.
Oh yeah, they're planned every time.
Just unhappy about it.
Any Hu player will tell you that.
Yeah.
It happens for me all the time. It's calculated.
Astral Authority still wondering if maybe they can push down this mid tower. Got a 3-man grouping here in mid. Transonics, though, happy to farm up over in the dual lane. They sent Jumpa over to make sure he couldn't keep pushing into that tower line. And that's Brochacho that's doing a lot of this here for him. We're coming into the mid-game now where RDO can really start having a big impact for them. Looking for the long-range stun, not getting a Chaotic Purpose. Looking for the tectonic shift. Keegs ends up having to run the other way. No one else, though, could follow up.
Chaotic Purpose was trying to give a big hello to Keegs this time around instead of Crimson. I think that actually caught Crimson off guard because he immediately dashed backwards, trying to put distance between himself and Chaotic, but Chaotic went straight for Keegs.
Well, can you blame him? He's having some flashbacks to all the times Cabrakan's blinked at him this set so far. So, you know, as soon as he heard it, he reacted. But you're right, that one was more focused at Keegs. It looks like he was able to make it out of there without having to worry too much. Transonics going in onto Keegs, but now he drops the Sunbreaker down on top of Jumpa, using that mounted archery to get a couple hits back onto Brochacho and Transonics, who got to turn around as everyone on Myth is still plenty healthy.
But this is the win for Myth. It's just how low Transonics was actually poked out. Brochacho as well. Rotation being made from Astral Authority, but it might be coming too late. Fafnir's already up into that Draconic farm, and Gold Fury's nearly dead.
It was a little bit off the mark. Myth end up getting it, but more Wolves looking to try and take the fight. Keegs already has been eliminated, but Crimson is the call. Aegis comes out from early on, doesn't immune any damage. They turn back around towards inbound, and they recognize Kobe's getting pressured out in the back, as is Transonics. Jumpa takes him down 1-for-1, but the Gold Fury in favor of Myth.
And look at Crimson wrapping around the backside. He wants Covey. Delaney actually committing the Lord of the Afterlife to Covey as well. Wasn't able to connect. Jumpa, however, still hanging around this backside. Chaotic Purpose and Brochacho, though, enough presence to deter them.
Tectonic shift comes down to lock in Jumpa. Jumpa had a health bar. It's getting extended out just for a moment by the shield, but he's way on the wrong side of the team fight. Wolves gets another kill. 4-0-1 for the solo laner for Astral Authority. They end up getting a couple kills, but Myth got the Gold Fury. Who is that in favor of?
This is actually not okay for Myth. Wolves is way too much of a problem right now, and that Gold Fury, although it looked like a huge win for Myth to secure it, Astral Authority, I think, actually came out on top there because of all the picks they found after.
Yeah, the experience lead did appear to be pretty heavily in Astral's favor there, about 3,000. A lot of it is on Wolves up here over Delny. He's just a bully this game, locking him down, setting him up for Chaotic Purpose. Even if Chaotic Purpose doesn't get quite the initiation he's looking for, if that wall slows him down a bit, Wolves is right there with him to start knocking him up and controlling the fight.
Wolves has dealt more player damage than anybody else in the game by a
lot.
significant amount, and that's the issue here really is he's just getting to have his way with almost every member of Myth. And when you have one person that's able to zone out 2, 3, 4 people successfully, how do you initiate and engage back into the team fight?
And his sustain in these team fights is pretty gross too. I mean, between the Gladiator Shield, I believe he has the Mela Renewal down there too. I mean, he just sticks around in these for so long. Delny attempting to poke him out here, but really it's just tickling him. Who's not getting tickled, though, is Inbound, trapped in these tremors, trying to get some help from Crimson, but those weren't the priority targets. Inbound losing about 80% of his HP. He'll have to back, and Portal Demon is still available for Astral Authority.
And this is all that Astral wanted. They don't care about chasing Inbound because they just want the zone away. Wolves now playing zone duty for Delaney. Portal Demon, though, only has like 10% health. That's gone.
Keegs, though, didn't rotate to this. He took the tier 1 tower over there in the duo lane side. So, yes, the Portal Demon has gone down in favor of Astral Authority, but Keegs responds with the tower. What's Astral going to do with this portal, though, is the question to determine who it's in favor of, and they want this mid. Brochacho taking too much poke from Crimson, though.
It's just the immediate response, though, from Astral Authority, making up for losing that T1 in duo. They take the T1 in mid lane now, which is actually better.
Delny now in trouble, has to use the Lord of the Afterlife to get out of the Suns. Jumper the 9 wins, comes over the top. Transonics ends up cleaning the kill up onto the solo laner for Myth Gaming. 5v4 now in favor of Astral Authority. Jumpa and Inbound get locked in the walls from Chaotic Purpose. There had to turn around. Inbound goes up to the Draconic Corruption. Final Judgment comes through, only hitting Brochacho in the back end. Jumpa too low. Transonics, he'll take that one.
But Crimson finally managing to punish Wolves for that aggression.
That's a
Wolves
big
going
kill.
just a little bit too deep, but it's still worth it for Astral Authority. Covey, again, coming up huge with this Spirit of the Nine Winds, and the fact that he was able to connect it, just preventing the fight from continuing out of Myth.
Yeah, taking down Wolves there was really big to slow down some of that pressure that they had. We're getting back here now, though, to that 23-minute mark. Astral Authority still got this very even up. They don't quite have the gold lead. It is less than 100, it looks like, separating these two teams here right now. The experience on Wolves, though, is where they're getting that lead. The 10-7, they're up in the kills. Can Wolves come in and help them keep putting on the pressure in these fights?
It's really all about disrupting Crimson's flow. If they can keep Crimson locked out of the fight, then Wolves will probably die for it every single time, because wherever Crimson isn't being involved to output that damage, it's putting too much pressure onto Keegs, and it's easy for Astral Authority to collapse on top of the Hachiman with the Kabrakan.
Yeah, Crimson has been a nightmare for them in this game so far. We saw in that last engage that he put some damage in, but it was on the Brochacho, and that's not who he's been blowing up with it traditionally throughout the game, so just having to be a little bit further back really is changing the way these team fights are going.
Main issue here now for Myth is that Astral have seemingly taken full control of the map pressure, and with that in mind, Myth are now going to have to be incredibly careful for which paths they choose to traverse.
Inbound is the one from over here in between those jungle camps. Take a little bit of poke here from Brochacho as the Oracles go down to Transonics. Gold Fury actually is pretty close to respawning here, only about 5 seconds before she'll land down and be available to target one more time. And so far, Myth Gaming have done a good job of securing the objective. That's what's kept this game feeling so even so far.
And that's the main thing as well, is that Myth do have this Thoth ultimate. Again, Spirit of the Nine Winds from Covey is also massive for ult secure, but you've got to land it at the right spot. And on that Gold Fury that Myth was able to secure, actually, Covey dropped his ultimate, and it did connect with the Gold Fury, but it was a little bit too early, so he wasn't able to successfully steal it away.
Brochacho frontlining here for him. Astral Authority in the back line have dropped the Gold Fury in an attempt to join in, but the fight didn't happen. Delny, though, is in the back end of the team fight. They recognize it and immediately jump to him. Inbound comes in. Dragonic Corruption in the middle of the fight. Spirit of 9 Winds waiting for him. As soon as he comes back out of it already, he's going to have to leave. Jumpa's in the back end of the fight one more time. Tectonic Shift traps in. Inbound one more time. He turns around and breathes in the fire. Final Judgment comes through and hurts Transonics, but more Wolves takes out Inbound.
Transonics just got absolutely blown up by that Thoth ultimate. Delany now trying to commit onto Transonics on the backside, but Transonics, he's got the Aussie, he's got the Devos, he's got the Peel, and now he's got the kill onto Delany.
Delany tried to use Lord of the Afterlife. Transonics jumps up over it, crashes right back down. Astral Authority 3 for 0 in that team fight. They've got their eyes on the Gold Fury and heading back to it. Jumpa and Crimson, the only ones alive to have any say in how the Gold Fury bird goes down. Jump on the back end. Covey turning back towards him. Brochacho's the one on zoning duty this time. Astral Authority, they're happy to take the Gold Fury. Finally now moving out to a bit of a lead in the gold department, about 2K up.
Without any purification beads available, Jumpa just knew that he couldn't afford to step into that pit. Otherwise, he was just going to die alongside of Astral, probably securing the Gold Fury anyway.
Astral Authority now backing up. They've got a little bit of a lead. They're the ones with the pressure here, and they can decide where they want to put it on the map. Again, when Crimson's controlled in these fights, man, it's real hard for Myth Gaming to be the ones that end up coming out on top. We were questioning Covey on this Kukulkan pick, but, I mean, into the Fafnir, he has a target, it feels like, every team fight. Once that Draconic Corruption goes up, he drops it right on top of him.
And normally that's so unfavorable to drop your ultimate onto a tank, but it's been working out. It's actually been taking out about half of Inbound's HP, but more importantly, interrupting that immediate jump away, so it gives Astral plenty of time to set up in the positions where Inbound would normally have an escape.
Yeah, it gives them some guaranteed disruption to slow down what Inbound's trying to do. And we talked about it before, how last game they were able to target Inbound so easily because he wasn't as mobile as he is now. But Covey's kind of cutting that out, kind of limiting some of that mobility for him by locking him in place and giving the rest of his team a chance to put in the damage. Transonics now just about full build. He's ready to come in and start helping out too as they pull the Portal Demon.
The main reason we're seeing Astral have so much success in these jungle fights is because they have way more space control than Myth, and that's going to be mid-ult for mid-ult, but it's going to be Astral's Portal Demon.
Astral Authority do get that Portal Demon, but once again, it looks like as well as Kobe's been playing, his ult's not doing so much for objectives secure this game here, Taco.
He's kind of just been a little bit off the mark as far as timing, but it's not as important since Astral Authority are still securing it. The more important factor is whether or not they're going to be able to find this kill into Downey. That'd be a huge hit to Myth.
He's trying to hold on to that ultimate, and so far he was able to, not having to use that one to jump away. As we said, both our mid-mage ultimates have already been used. Covey and Crimson gonna have to wait a little while before they have theirs available. Over the wall, Delney with 3 members of Astral right here with him. He's going forward. He's been slowed. He's been stunned. Now he's locked in. Brochacho didn't quite have the cripple field available, and now they force that Lord of the Afterlife out of him.
Transonics lurking in the air there after using the first half of his jump. It's one of those moments where you debate, do I want to commit or not? And I think that it was great discipline. He doesn't choose to dive into 4 members of Myth.
Instead, they're happy to force him back. The actual portal from the Portal Demon no longer available, so they'll have to get back the old school way. But Jumpa is way out in no man's land. I don't know if they recognize that he's back here, though, because Covey and Chansonics just keep on coming on through and let him back. So I don't think they knew he was there.
I don't think they knew, or they possibly didn't care. It had to have been they didn't actually see him back there, because I don't see them just letting him run around their back line for free, and especially in a position where if they get that pick, they can pressure onto the Fire Giant with an automatic 4v5.
Yeah, that would have been a big point of pressure there for Astral Authority if they could have been able to take Jumpa out. So likely they just didn't recognize he was there, but as you said, they might have also decided it wouldn't have been worth hard committing onto him. But either way, Jumpa able to get back to the rest of his team on the right side of the map this time, and even pick up his own speed buff. So he'll be able to keep rocking and keep rolling. In fact, there might be a little bit of trouble for Wolves over here. Jumpa and Delney collapsing on top of him, but Wolves knocks them both up. He doesn't care, ready to keep on moving.
And inbound now, actually getting a little bit of poke. Actually taking seemingly no damage from Brochacho. It's kind of just the support trade-off, but now with Astral Authority grouping up alongside of this Fire Giant pit, it's only a matter of time before they start testing their luck and seeing whether or not they can actually take it.
The pressure is on to Delney this time over in solo lane. He does have Lord of the Afterlife available, so he has his escape button if he needs it. Chaotic Purpose drops his ultimate, so Delney drops his. Transonic's actually in trouble in the left side. He's alone over here up against 2. Dances around in the sun to the moment. Keegs gets a kill. That's an important member of Astral who's no longer available.
That's the kind of play that you don't want to see happening if you're Astral Authority. Losing your Hunter, especially when Transonics is a large portion of their damage, it's going to make things really tough on the Covey now.
Especially like that. Transonics is over there in the dual lane. I don't think they have any vision on that side. So, I mean, he couldn't have known there was a rotation coming. I don't know about being pushed that far forward without any kind of information. Transonics pays for it with his life.
Well, with the 4v5 now being in Myth's favor, it's time for them to look at this Fire Giant potentially. They have started pulling it. They've got that Hachima and Heavenly Banner acting as a Shogun's, but it's going to be the commit now from Chaotic Purpose onto Crimson in the backside.
Crimson having to back up. Final Judgment is charging. He's ready to let it loose. And also Covey sends his through. Covey is deleted by Jumpa, getting credit for that kill. Wolves now the one who's low, having to back up inbound. And Delney are here as well. Chaotic Purpose on his way out of the team fight. And once again, with the numbers in their favor, Myth take the fight.
But it's a victory still for Astral Authority because they managed to keep Myth off of the Fire Giant in a situation that really wasn't looking very hot for them. Forcing out Crimson as low as they did was the most important factor because it ensured that Myth didn't want to try and push their luck with that Fire Giant.
And that's fortunate for Astral Authority because I think that was some bad positioning we saw from Transonics over in Duo. He gets punished for it. They have the power play, but the rest of Astral Authority were able to safely get them off the Fire Giant. Yes, they lose Covey, but now they've been able to stall long enough where he's only got 5 more seconds on that respawn timer, and he'll be ready to join the fight again.
That has to be a one-and-done mistake, though, from Transonics.
Yeah.
There's really no reason for him to be solo farming the duo lane right now, especially when the rest of his team isn't on the when the rest of his team is on the other side of the map. He just can't afford to get caught out like that because you saw the impact that it already had against Astral, missing their Hunter in the team fight. It's too much for Myth.
This time the commit is on to inbound. Stun comes out onto Brochacho to slow him down for the moment. Suns, though, raining down onto the Dwarf. He has to jump over the wall, but it's Wolves who gets blown up in the front line. Brochacho takes Final Judgment right to the face. Serpent Line wins, comes over the wall, takes out inbound. They're able to at least get 1 return kill. Chaotic Purpose now falls. Covey takes Jumpa and gets himself a double kill. Covey gets himself a triple kill in favor of Astral Authority. Jumping in is Transonics trying to lock down Delny.
He wants it. They all want it, but Astral Authority, knowing better, recognizing they're not going to be able to catch out Crimson and Delny this time. They already got 3 for 2, and with 2 of their carries being alive, this is an all but free Portal Demon.
And this is why we saw Covey take this Kukulkan in a match that could get them to HRX, because he knows he can play it at this level. That was huge for them in that fight. 3 kills, he gets the credit for all of them. Now the Portal Demon is started, and they've got the big damage dealers here. Between Transonics and Covey, they can do it. Maybe not with Delny in their face, though. Brochacho coming back through the portal. They've got Delny up in the air. They got Delny very low already. The thorns are ticking, but they're not enough. Covey gets credit for yet another kill, and they take out the solo lane.
That was perfect, though. They still have that Portal Demon to fall back on and immediately come back through full health. And Brochacho, we saw him come barreling through that Portal Demon, actually helping to stun out Delny and keep him locked down.
And that wasn't really important. Delny was just looking to get them off the Fire Giant for the moment, but because of the Portal Demon, it just wasn't long enough. They're all right back here again. Transonics, Covey, and Chaotic Purpose are all they need to secure the objective. No one else is even around, so Covey winning that fight so handily for them. I mean, it's a team effort. Now Astral Authority at the Fire Giant, a 4K gold lead, and they're ready to push.
Gold lead might not be that significant yet, but Astral Authority, there's 3 T2 towers sitting on the side of Myth. That's 4,500 gold just waiting to be collected.
And they're going to be happy to do it. They'll push on in and try and take down these tier 2 towers. Phoenixes are all still up as well, so there's actually still plenty of work for Astral Authority to do. But this is what we saw last game. That fight over there at that Fire Giant pit broke the game open in favor of Astral Authority, and they never looked back. How much better can Myth Gaming defend this time is going to be the question. They take Oracles, they take Gold Fury, and they're looking to regroup.
But that's the hard part, is how much Myth is going to have to play defense now that Astral Authority were able to secure that Fire Giant. I don't really see Myth looking for anything more than some side poke underneath these 2-2 towers, because they have that Thoth and Hachiman has decent range as well, but they're going to have to play some upstanding defense on these Phoenixes.
Delny is the one that goes forward. He drops the tether down to 4 members, but takes almost half his health bar in response for it. Jumpa is being zoned away by Chaotic Purpose, but for the moment, they got Astral Authority to step off of this tier 2 tower, but now with the minion wave here, they can push in again.
But this is the fight that Astral want to take. They want to take it when they can escape, and Crimson gonna get locked down underneath everything, trying to Aegis it all out. Spirit of the Nine Winds not gonna connect.
More Wolves does connect with Crimson, though, takes him out of the fight. Geeks returns the favor, though, takes the solo lane for Astral Authority all the way back to base. Tier 2 tower in dual lane falls in favor of Astral Authority, and they wisely back up, and they want to come back to this other tier 2. Not quite yet for that Phoenix push.
That was basically every relic, though, on both sides. Well, Astral not having to use quite as much as Myth because of that Fire Giant advantage, but it's going to cost them all their T2 towers, and the most important part, Crimson's not going to have actives for 2 minutes.
Yeah, Crimson for more Wolves. It kind of felt like those were the 2 most important members of each team right now. What Wolves have been doing for Astral Authority has been excellent this game, and what Crimson's been doing has been keeping Myth in this one. So they end up trading them, but in the end, it comes out in Astral's favor. They've got those 2 tier 2 towers. Tier 1 and right is that last call. Everyone's here but Crimson for the defense, and Astral Authority are looking to push.
And Jumpa kind of just lurking around those back harpies, seeing if he can get a sneaky ultimate onto the backside, maybe onto Transonics, looking for that immediate blow up of the Hu Yi. Taking out a carry right now from Astral Authority would be so significant in stopping their push.
And this is a lot of pressure here on both these 2 rosters. Myth Gaming, if they drop this game here, then they have to count on someone else to get them their ticket. Jumpa blinks in on the Covey, blows him up. Now he's standing in the tornadoes, taking out the mid-mage who's been playing so well for Astral Authority. That one just can't happen.
That's just the lazy back coming back to bite you. And now it's going to be Myth pushing down their solo lane in return. I don't know if they're going to be able to force the T2 tower, as the rest of Astral Authority is now starting to shift their way over to the side of the map, but that is a rough loss.
Yeah, the blink coming up big for Jumpa in that engagement. And as you said, it kind of feels like we haven't been seeing a whole lot from him. I mean, sitting at 6, 4, and 5, he's been having the impact, but that one, that solo kill on the Covey, really big for Myth Gaming. Over the wall is Crimson trying to clear a path for the rest of his team to push into this tier 2 tower in right. Taco, do you think they can take down this tower? Should they keep pushing?
This is a really risky one, already forcing out the Aegis from Keegsmate. Chaotic Purpose just using those tremors to put out as much damage as possible, but it's all about Wolves. Inbound, though, with a great stop from Wolves chasing down his Hunter.
Gives him time to get up onto the horse and drive away. Now it's Inbound, the one who could be in trouble. He's tanky enough to live through the damage for the moment. Final Judgment. Whoa, that was 1,200 on a Transonics. Chaotic Purpose, though, takes down Inbound in the front side of the team fight. Crimson now locked down in that cripple field. Wolves is here to try and root him. Finally gets the dash off. Crimson gets out of there.
But Wolves isn't ready to let go of Crimson just yet. Deciding better, though, after seeing Keegs joining his mid laner. And now it's just going to be a 1-for-0 trade so far from Astral Authority, but they have protected their T2 tower successfully.
Portal Demon back available for Astral Authority, and as you said, that was a big fight for Astral. They defend that tier 2 tower when Myth Gaming had the power play. They had the chance to come in and try and get a little bit more off the map and help even up some of this lead that Astral Authority have. Instead, now with the portal available, Fire Giant respawning in 25 seconds, Astral will be the ones who can get into position. Inbound might have a chance to make it there, though. He's going to be respawning here shortly.
Inbound might have sacrificed his own life, but that was so worth it. The fact that he was able to save Crimson in that situation, it was super clutch.
Yeah, Crimson's been big for them. Keeping him alive has been a big deal. On zoning duty here is Chaotic Purpose and Brochacho, keeping them away from that Fire Giant pit as he is now freeing himself from his restraints and coming back onto the map, fully targetable. Covey and Transonics are the ones who have the damage, so they're going to hang back out by the pit while Wolves and Brochacho keep him away.
And Transonics just pulling away at this Fire Giant, which is going to get shredded pretty quickly thanks to Covey. They're going to leash it for now, though. They want to make Myth pour into that pit. That's going to be the favorable fight because the Tornadoes are so good at space control.
It really looks like they're trying to bait here a little bit more than hard commit onto the objective. They want to pull him in so Kobe can blow him up. More Wolves jumps in, knocks up 2 members, blinking in his Chaotic Purpose. He's got the wall onto Inbound and onto Crimson, trapped in the back, not able to get any damage off. Chaotic Purpose gets credit for that kill. Stuns raining down. Inbound forced to jump away, and there it is. The Spirit of the Nine wins. Jumpa gets credit on the Chaotic Purpose, though, as Kobe not quite what he wanted with the ultimate.
But everybody's just swarming around Inbound and Downey. Downey is going to be able to escape, but Inbound will not have the same pleasure. Now it's Keegsmate looking to use that dash to escape, but he's going to have nowhere left to run, even underneath his own T2 tower.
Yeah, there was nowhere to go for Keegsmate there in that situation. 3 for 1, heavily in favor of Astral Authority. They're going to take this tier 2 tower since they're all right here underneath it anyway, and they don't even want the Fire Giant. They're just going to come down pushing for this Phoenix over here in solo lane. Delny and Jumpa are here to defend.
30 seconds until Crimson respawns. They can't afford another death here from Myth Gaming. Not if they want to try and protect this Phoenix. Jumpa already using that ultimate onto Wolves underneath the Phoenix, but Phoenix can only do so much. Jumpa's forced back to base. Downey's still trying to play defense, but he's going to have to back off as well, and Astral Authority take the right-hand Phoenix for free.
At the end of that team fight, Astral Authority take tier 2 in right, Phoenix over in right, 3 kills to their name, only giving up Chaotic Purpose. Sounds like a good trade to me, Taco. Now they're backing up towards this Fire Giant pit, trying to catch Jumpa if he comes out a little bit too far. Instead, though, he recognizes he should back away.
The immediate dash, though,
yes,
just from hearing Transonics launch the Ricochet, that is the scary part about Hu Yi.
And in this fight now, they're turning back to get the Fire Giant at the end of taking all that. It's already down below half health. Delny and Jumpa are both here, but this time Spirit of the Nine wins is enough to secure it. They take the Fire Giant onto all 5 members, even waiting on Chaotic Purpose to come back. Final Judgment, not quite enough in that engagement. Delny gonna have to leave, and Astral Authority are still looking strong.
But enough of a stoppage, at least to keep Delny alive for a little bit longer. That's the most important part. They're gonna need every single frontliner if they want to try and hold off Astral from the rest of their Phoenixes.
Everybody getting close here now to full build. We're about 41 minutes, 42 minutes here into the game. Crimson still working on, it looks like, his last item as well. So there's still something to be said for this gold disparity, though not too much. It's getting less and less relevant. As is experience at this point, everyone relevant is level 20 except right now for Inbound, who's had a hard time. So Astral Authority, their lead's going to start meaning less and less here now. It's going to be more about potions, about wards and vision than anything, Taco.
And that's kind of the control that Astral Authority have right now. As long as Kobe stays away from Jumpa, Jumpa has the possibility to turn every single one of these fights around if he's able to lock down a member of Astral with his ultimate. It's just such a difficult task because as soon as Jumpa tries to commit, there's Brochacho with the Cripple Field to slow that Nemesis down.
Astral Authority once again have so much on the line here. They won't be out of it if they lose this game, but winning this game sends them right to HRX, Taco. So there's a lot of pressure on them. On the other side, Myth Gaming need this win or else they'll have to rely on Soar, and they're going to have to rely here now on Chaotic Purpose. He blinks in. More Brochacho actually gets burned alive here. The ultimate comes out and he falls. Credit goes to Crimson. The left Phoenix is actually still standing. Transonics takes down inbound Sunbreaker, crashing down on top of the Firebird. Myth Gaming in a lot of trouble now. 2 Phoenixes off the map. They're turning their sights onto Delny.
And Delny just trying to stay alive for as long as possible. Wolves going to be able to catch out Jumpa. Jumpa already using the purification beads, but it's going to be Wolves getting credit for the kill. Delny went in, but Lord of the Afterlife has nowhere left to go. Transonics with another kill. Now it's going to be Crimson left all alone side of the fountain. There's no way they hold off Astral.
The mid Phoenix is the only thing standing between them and victory now. They take it down as well. The Titan is left in the Titan room. Astral Authority backing up, though. They recognize they got a lot of low health bars, and Crimson's still doing plenty of damage.
I think that Transonics wanted to just look for some camps to lifesteal off of. He should be able to find it, whether it's off the Portal Demon or something else, but Delny and Jumpa still aren't going to be responding for another 40 seconds. Brochacho will be up in 10. All 3 Phoenixes being down. Astral Authority could potentially look for a fight.
Could Astral Authority have ended their Taco?
It's risky, and that is Astral Authority playing with the utmost respect for what Crimson can do on this Thoth.
That's
the only reason why that game didn't end there.
That's what it feels like to me, 100%. Maybe they could have taken that victory, but if Crimson lines up his damage, there's no reason to roll those dice there, Taco. Instead, they come back out fully healthy. All 5 members here barreling down the lane, and Fire Giant on everyone but Brochacho. This is going to be a hard defense for Myth Gaming to try and make. Already having to use Mountain Archery just to get away is Keeg's mate. Coming down to the mid lane is Transonics and Covey in tow, trying to bring their fire minions along.
And all the ultimates are available for Astral Authority. I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe even look for the all-in commit. They've got every single wave pushed up with fire creeps. That is the worst part for Myth Gaming. And now it's actually going to be Crimson getting locked down because of Chaotic Purpose.
That's
no
huge.
way!
That's huge. Chaotic Purpose comes into the back, blows Crimson up. Transonics ends up getting credit for the kill in the end. Delny now trying to be the front line. He's got to use Lord of the Afterlife defensively just to get away. Right side Phoenix falls one more time. More Wolves takes down Keeg's mate. Covey takes down Delny. The Titan will be soon to fall. Astral